Oops.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the Everton Daily Live. It looks like Everton will be taken over by Dan Friedkin Group, the company who own AS Roma, or part own AS Roma, and he's a lot of other successful businesses throughout
Roma,
the world.
don't they?
Roma. So, John, welcome back, John.
Hello.
Back from his travels in the United States. We did say when you went all those months ago, when you come back, it might be resolved, John.
Well, we did say
that when I went a few weeks before, and it didn't happen. But
the thing we said consistently is when it happens, generally speaking, it'll happen reasonably quickly, and it might be someone comes. No, the actual.
The actual thing, yeah.
You know, it might be someone who hasn't been gossiped about for months. Yeah.
So where are you with this, John? In terms of we know the process ended with 777, and it ended very much like it looked like it was going to end.
End of May.
And then there's lots of other names and consortiums are being put forward, and there was lots of stories about it. And this fella was linked with an interest, but was dismissed by some people as fantasy and not going to happen. But very much like what happened with Farhad Moshiri, the people who looked like were getting it, Moshiri came out the background, so to speak, to take that club. And Friedkin, we were told the other day, I'm trying to think of the timeline, we were told on Thursday that AJ Bell and George Downing were still in the driving seat. There was a consortium called Vici who looked like they'd come late to the party. There was Vach Manukian and his consortium apparently in there. But obviously MSP and ACAP were still looking at things. But it looks as though Friedkin's got it. So what are your initial thoughts without knowing the ins and outs of the Friedkins?
That was the get out, wasn't it? Because the initial thoughts are, well, let's wait and see. I mean, we can all hit Google or whatever, or speak to people or get spoken to, because that's not the same thing, about net worths and what they've done elsewhere and so on. But if you did the criteria, I think I wrote down for somebody, because someone asked me, what would you do? And I wrote down the criteria, right? And the criteria for me were, apart from the very obvious ones about being sufficiently financed to be credible, is going to come down to, okay, who are you going to bring in then to run the club? Yeah. You know, who are your names? Where's the experience? Yeah. What's the treatment going to be of the various loans and things that we've got? Some of the numbers getting thrown around about this are substantial. Yeah. Some of the stuff coming out of Italy seems like Farhad's getting all his money back, which seems very, very unlikely, so to speak. So we need to see the details, of course. So we need to see an announcement. Of course, and I guess what we'll get is something, unless the guy himself influences it, because he's not shy, would be moderately bland and say, preferred, sorry, my words, that would be exclusive, preferred supplier, preferred, whatever, exclusivity arrangement has been entered into with the organisation. They'll go through a fit and proper owners test type stuff. Watch this space, if that's the bare minimum, isn't it? It'd be nice to hear a bit more. But you need to be cautious after what happened last time, really. But yeah, Roma seemed quite happy, poured a fair amount of money into that organisation, and maybe they'll pour a little bit into Everton just to take away some of this. Well, restructuring the debt should be bog standard anyway for whoever was going to get the business. So it'll be interesting to see how that's going to be done. Whether that gets done by eliminating some debt, literally by just paying them off. Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say for you, one of the reporters saw yesterday coming out of Italy, and again, like you just said, it's a big pinch of salt here to take us, things can come out, whatever. Although the source from Italy was the first to report that Friedkin had got it, which is on Friday. But anyway, they were saying
last Wednesday
that I know, but the actual one that said it was done.
No, I understand.
But one of the things he said yesterday was that he was clearing a big chunk of the debt immediately. So MSP were getting paid and go away.
That would make sense.
And a few other bits were getting paid, go away. And then it reduces, obviously, the interest payments. That's what they were saying. You'd never know.
But that
the breakdown
again,
of
that's
that.
101. That's very basic. And what
I love about you, John, is you say 101 like that's what has happened at Everton for the last 30 years. And
no, 101.
Forgive me
it's
for
basic behaviour.
being, but I don't think Everton have operated. This is not people. It hasn't appeared to operate.
What we know,
what we know, of course.
No. You're right. Sorry, apologies.
Well, that would be good.
What we know is that what is pretty bog standard 101 behaviours in other businesses.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't. Well, we can beat Everton if we want, but I think it's football in general tends to, for whatever reason, doesn't operate in the right way.
No.
And when they do operate in the right way, they tend to stick out and get a lovely big wavy flag that says this is how businesses should be run.
Yeah.
So bringing proper business people in who know how to run a business properly, extract value from the very good stuff we've got at the football club and fix the stuff that needs attention.
Yeah.
Then that's going to be the basics, and that's a place called Start, isn't it? And I think we've talked on when we've done the sofa stuff more than once about changing perception can happen very quickly.
Yeah.
Changing the underlying causes for poor performance and all that sort of stuff takes a bit longer.
Yeah.
Having said that, the nature of football, particularly Premier League football, is the planning cycles are really quite short. We've talked about, you can almost say short term is this transfer window, medium term is the next two, and long term is 3 transfer windows. So you're talking about 12 to 18 months maximum, right? When in most businesses that might be 1, 3, 5 years sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So let's wait and see. A man with a plan is great. Typically, a man with a plan and money is even better.
Yeah.
A man with money and no plan is that's how you get where we are, right?
Absolutely.
So it'd be interesting to see how it all plays out and how it's announced. And that must be imminent.
I mean, GMAC, who's really going to buy debt-ridden Everton? Well, Dan Friedkin, apparently.
A guy worth about £5 or £6 billion seems to think it's a good idea.
And apparently... And again, this is no confirmation of this. I mean, you had a little... You said, that's his personal. Well, according again to Italy, he's also got big billionaire investors as part of his thing to come in anyway, because his immediate plan is... And again, I hope... Me and Pet said this the other week, and I think me and you've said this every week from about January when we were talking about it, was I want someone to come in who wants Everton to be the best, like number one in the Premier League again. Well, this is... Again, might never get there, but his aim is to make Everton be a team that wins the Premier League, regardless of everything.
Absolutely, and there was a couple of things I saw while I was away. A bit unlike you, I failed to keep away from stuff. But so you don't know whether I put it on WhatsApps or bloody Twitters. I don't bloody know. It's just chatting to Blues, isn't it? At the end of the day. Yeah. But I mean, one thing Texter said was, make these guys great again.
Yeah.
The Plymouth Argyle chair, when he was on the channel, for whatever reason, Ped says he's not allowed to mention, but he had a good chat. He had a good chat.
Oh, with the Crystal Palace, former Crystal Palace fella, yeah. Come on then.
No, he was Plymouth chair, isn't he? From Palace, the chairman, the Irish guy.
No, Peterborough, Darren McCann.
Oh, Peterborough, not Plymouth.
Darren McCann. John's had us all over the
I've been on holiday.
Yeah,
right.
Darren McCann.
But while the other two were pseudo slagging Everton off, and
this is before Ped sorted it out.
Ped fixed it. Great. I watched that through. It was great, mate. With Sam. Sorry, what's his face? Matt's face, isn't he? Yeah. He's a good commentator. Right? He
done the commentary well the other night. I feel like you've given him a renewed confidence to commentate at the Euros now, Ped. Now you've straightened them up.
He was struggling for a fair bit, but he got through that conversation.
In the end.
He got through that conversation with Ped. But the trigger for that was you saying blah blah blah, right? And whoever this guy is, who's going to buy
debt-ridden Everton.
Debt-ridden Everton, and while that was going on in the TalkSport studio, the Pompey guy, whoever it was,
Peterborough United, say 3 times.
I know.
Go on.
The Peterborough guy was in the background going bargain.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he?
Who's going to pay 700 million for these? They're in debt.
Yeah.
Man over here runs a football club. Bargain.
Not me.
Not
sadly.
you wish.
But yes, I wish it was 700 million.
So the point was, guys who were in the industry were going, I'd like to buy this and make it great again.
Yeah.
Another guy, different league, but doesn't matter, bargain, right? Joe Blogs down the chip shop who's got a Twitter account, no one's going to buy them, sort of thing. No one's going to pay that debt off. Well, they are, because it is a bargain. And the last Substack I did finished, hindsight will show that whoever gets it got a bargain.
Absolutely.
And hindsight clearly is currently a place in the future, right? And we did talk consistently, and we were totally wrong in one respect, because the best time to get the best deal was just before the A word, wasn't it? And it doesn't look like we got anywhere near as close to that as other clubs have in the past.
That we were, again, the people who were peddling that line.
No, we talked about it a year ago, I mean.
Yeah, no, but people who were peddling that line in the last 3 or 4 months should be ashamed of themselves.
But don't forget, some of those people were part of a group trying to acquire the club.
Of course,
right?
yeah.
So you're going to talk it down.
You're going to talk it down.
It's part of your negotiating tactics and stuff like that. So I wouldn't get too uptight about it.
AC says the Traveller is back. Welcome back, Mr. Blaine.
Thank you.
And a few other people are saying, great to see you back, John, which is nice.
Did you get that when you come back? Great, you were back as well.
Yeah. Oh, God, I got so many, John.
Yeah. I would think so, yeah. It falls apart when you're not.
Oh, God, of course it does, yeah.
Ped
Greg
comes in more, though.
Greg says, great tribute to Kevin Campbell early. Someone said it's Ped off this week. Me and Ped have literally just
come off a live. Was that live?
50 minutes live, yeah. Just before. He's just chilling there, and we'll be back very soon on screen.
He had a few moments in North Wales, though, didn't he?
Couple of nice. I wish the weather was a bit better for him. But the weather ain't great. Although today's not actually that bad. Phil says lots of parallels between Roma 4 years ago and Everton, both with and had financial issues, big fan base and stadium plans, etc. I was going to say, is this Friedkin just going, well, they haven't built Roma's Dan Mice stadium yet, so I'll go somewhere where
they won the gig, though,
where Dan Mice has got a stadium. I wonder. I mean, if
stadium with Wi-Fi.
Now, just turn Ped's mic up, please.
A stadium with Wi-Fi?
I know. Well, we'll talk about that very briefly. Ped, I mean, we haven't had the chat yet since you come back.
I can't see him. It's just a light. There he is.
No, what I mean is we haven't really... He could.
Anyone who's watching, I'm going to...
Well, it's all right. Listen, we'll hear Ped right now. Ped, what are your initial thoughts on Dan Friedkin and getting the club? Like, you're over that without knowing too much, obviously, but just like your gut reaction to the news.
He sounds like a guy that means business, like a serious fella, like who's already ran a football club for a few years in a similar situation. Roma are a massive football. Well, they're in a huge city. They're the biggest club in that city as well. When I last went to Rome, you could barely see a trace of Lazio. It was all Toffee and it was all Roma. So they're massive, and I think seems to seem like he comes from a background in finance as well. So I'm really hopeful that there's an adult there'll be an adult at the club if this goes through, and hopefully it does.
You also give me a little fact about him before, didn't you?
Yeah, he's a film producer, and he actually flew the plane at the end of Dunkirk, where Tom Hardy lands on the beach.
Yeah.
So that's a very... I hope he stops doing that. If I'm honest,
for now, just stop doing that.
Doing that. But just listen.
He's a producer.
Yeah, he produced Killers of the Flower Moon as well, which recently came out as well.
The most recent one, yeah. Big Oscar.
So he's got fingers in pies.
He'd be disruptive, though.
I hope he is.
Good.
I hope he wants to make Everton,
Agent
obviously, with the
change
stadium.
and all that,
And listen, I was at Anfield on Thursday for the Taylor Swift gig, and that, to me, being there made me so excited for the new stadium. It really did. I mean, number one, just seeing the facilities and the big stand, the difference between that and Goodison was just night and day. Like, literally just basic stuff, like soap in the toilets, stuff like that. But it made me so excited for the prospect of having somewhere that's state of the art, and obviously the Wi-Fi stuff's been revealed today, which,
But it's interesting if you go on to the other half's website and look at the hospitality photos and stuff, and then you look at the way Everton are promoting Bramley Moor. Bramley-Moor's different level again.
Yeah, and listen, it just made me really. I mean, my wife, who obviously has been, she doesn't really want to leave Goodison, and she hasn't played into it when we've been talking about things like leaving mid-season. She's like, no, we leave at the end of the season. I'm trying to talk her out of that, and she just won't have it because she's all about the romance. But even her coming out of there on Thursday, she was like, I get it now. Like, we need our new stadium. We need to be bringing in people like this, like major talent.
It brings in 5 to 10 million a gig.
The money that gaff was getting, not a football crowd at all. I mean, I felt bad because the queue for the men's toilets was non-existent, and you know how many men's toilets there are in football grounds, and yet the women's was down the road. I felt really bad because I was like one of 7 men in the entire stadium.
Go to an Osmonds concert,
But that made me so excited about it. What's great is when you get to
queuing for the toilets, mate.
No, just being.
Well, that where we are now.
And what was great is
of his bladder, he has it.
What was great is at the top you could see we just need to blow up those flats in Everton Valley, and you could see our ground from their ground, which would be great as well. But it didn't half make me excited about the new ground, and he'll make the most of that. And I put out yesterday, and it's been confirmed sort of today, is that get that dock next to it, fill it in, and build a 25,000 stage arena. Because we've just missed out on Paul McCartney today, because he's going to play twice in Manchester instead of Liverpool, because our arena's tiny compared to that. So fill that dock in next door and make that ground and that arena the entertainment hub for our entire city. And let's have it right. Let's make that area our area, and we've got a big arena and a big stadium, and let's just smash it to bits. That's what I say anyway.
Let the non-men's team play in that. Yeah.
No, make an arena.
An indoor arena.
An indoor arena.
Like City have done.
Like City have done,
because we're going to start missing out on massive gigs now. Because, yes, you can have these brilliant summer gigs, but you can only have 6.
It's the middle ground as well, isn't it? The ones who can't do 50-odd K.
So our other one's 11,000.
Yeah.
Get a 25,000
They
like
made it too small, man. Yeah.
What?
Our stadium.
No, what's it called?
The Echo
M&S or whatever it's called.
They've took the level up again. So fill that dock in, make an arena, and make that whole area
I saw
a hub.
Manchester was already there. They planned to build one the same size, and they built one like 2/3.
I saw someone though, something the other day talking. It wasn't specifically about Friedkin, but saying that if something that's and again this could be utter nonsense, but I just found it interesting. Something that's come up with the consortiums is their interest in other land around the ground.
Oh, well, you've got to make the most. See, this is the other thing.
I just thought
the ground was so expensive, of course, and we haven't done the finances on it. But the land around there, Everton should own, or whoever owns Everton should own everything around that ground. Because that ground, and we look at it in the short term when it opens, but if you look at over the 10 years, and certainly up to the Euros, anyway, the prospects around that place. Now, we owned all that. Because what you'd need, obviously, more land if you're going to have other things like concerts and things. You need places where you can park all these mega trucks and all that. So there's not just the idea of just the stadium. There's so much we could make that whole area ours. And if someone who has got that kind of money came and went, well, I'm going to buy Everton, but I'm also going to invest in this area, which is going to make me money back. My God, long term, you could be making an absolute fortune.
This isn't new news, is it?
No, I know, John, but we're so fascinated because everything's about
stadium bookends, Liverpool Waters.
Exactly, but we've been so
Sherlock that what goes on in between is going to be valuable.
Exactly, and we've been so fixated on the stadium itself and making sure we can pay for the stadium.
Didn't we get a little bit of Nelson Dock when it all happened as well?
Well, we have got it to help, but we're renting that apparently.
Oh, I thought we'd acquired some.
But why? I mean, if we could get that dock next to us, fill that in as well, and put a huge arena on there, then you think, because everyone stays in the Titanic as well. The wealthy people stay in the Titanic. So the idea, because I was talking to people, I talked to a woman on Saturday.
This is his Paris lady.
No, she's from New York.
Manhattan, sorry.
Manhattan. And she was obviously wealthy, and she brought her son over. And I've seen loads of people over the weekend in Liverpool that had come in from all parts of the world, honestly, to see that gig. And honestly, when you get these things, it opens your eyes to what can be. It really does. It massively opens your eyes to what we can open at our football club by having that. And honestly, the stadium is going to be amazing, and the gigs, and obviously the football. Sure. But if we could get the next dock and do something with it, and get the surrounding area, my God, we could And that takes someone.
We just need to replace the romanticists with Imagineers. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's it. And I had a few people, I put a tweet out last night, and a few people scoffing at me. Why do you need that? We've already got an arena. And it's like...
It's too small.
Liverpool. I was at a gig in Manchester on Saturday at the cricket club.
Is that all you do, go to gigs?
Yeah, well...
Apparently now, yeah.
Foo Fighters, right? 50-odd thousand people.
I saw your little video about it for Kev, yeah.
Liam Gallagher is in the indoor one, the co-op, with another 25,000 in there. You know, and there might be... The Etihad's obviously getting work on it, so there's nothing happening there. But if you want to be a city that goes forward and attracts these world-class stars, and you don't want them to go to Manchester, then you've got to have these things. And if this guy comes in, he could be at the forefront of this and go, people love this city. People absolutely idolise
that race has done, the Manchester versus Liverpool one. It's done. It's been done a while, hasn't it?
Well, for Manchester.
You want it, wouldn't be, would it?
Oh, well, you can disrupt it now.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Because you've seen what they've got. You can produce stuff they haven't got.
There's an argument to say Liverpool only got Taylor Swift because the Etihad's shut.
Yeah,
and
quite possibly.
Well, of course.
And that's the problem, isn't it?
And our stadium's not finished. But as I said this morning, Paul McCartney announced 2 concerts in Manchester in December. Now, that might mean that next summer we get Paul McCartney at our new ground. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah.
But we've got to
right
start
about the summer thing.
We've got to start thinking bigger as a city, and someone like this could be a big part of that. And what you get off the back of that, people are going to see shots of Taylor Swift playing at Anfield and all the signage, and all the signage and all that. We want that for us. And
Did you sing that song?
No, she didn't even mention them.
We're not careful. There was going to be a 55,000 seater indoor stadium on the site anyway, wasn't there?
But that hopefully this guy...
So Paul Gregg, for all his faults, he had a little bit of vision there, didn't he?
Still had a bigger thing for us.
Yeah. And hopefully this guy sees the bigger picture, and it's all based off the stadium, and he thinks, because that is the thing maybe holding them back. Italy is a terrible place to build stadiums. I think there's only Juventus who've got their own. And of course it's Rome.
That's too small.
It's Rome, isn't it? Well, it's not too small for them. They like it like that, but... to build in Rome must be really difficult with all the historic places and everything. So they've struggled. They and Mike's done both the designs basically at the same time. And yet ours is nearly done and theirs hasn't even got a spade in the ground. So he might have got frustrated by something like that, and he might look at ours and go and get a ready-made stadium. Why wouldn't I buy it? And as you just said there, you know, a chairman of a football last week saying Everton is a bargain.
Sitting in the kitchen counting his hundreds of millions thinking, where shall I spend this? Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
But the opportunity by getting the extra stuff around it, if you can.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that is...
Listen, if you step back from it all and go, with the benefit of hindsight, you know, how long was this thing going to take? What would happen when it was finished? The bookending of Liverpool Waters, the ka-ching numbers that Peel can hear, so it'll accelerate, you know, their development and so on. And the fact that we will become a really valuable asset on the back of a completed stadium, and now they can all see that it's completed, as good as, because it's fitting out stage sort of thing. Anyone surprised that there's great interest in acquiring Everton Football Club?
No. Well, even now you look at it and there's 6 months, they announced the 6 months to go.
Yeah.
So
I found that funny, did you?
So does that mean it's going to be ready for the beginning of December?
That's when it's due to be finished.
Yeah.
December,
so you see it now, the roof's practically done. You imagine in the next week or two, the roofs and the side bits are all going to be finished off, and so
all very shiny,
and it'll look done. And of course, you've got more outdoor bits to do, and then it'll go more inside. But
I got an email while I was away about the hospitality.
Yeah,
you know, just reminding us we'll be giving you a shout soon, and they're going to do an official launch about it, aren't they? So maybe we'll get to the point where we can get in there and have a look at where our stuff's going to be.
The whole thing about
the rooms are, you know,
the whole thing about it is that, you know, if we can get this confirmed quickly, then obviously we can start to make the next phase of plans, and everyone can start feeling more positive about it.
Yeah, it's an emotive thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I see lots of people, and particularly when I'm playing Marge Proops for some of the usual suspects, if you like, and just say, well, let's get it right. That doesn't take precedence over quickly. But people just, if an announcement comes, it's done, and then in 4 to 6 weeks' time, which is allegedly how long directors and owners test take, which would be around the start of the season. You then get that kicker that it's been concluded, right? Then that'll make everyone feel a lot more comfortable.
And I guess if it's looking very favourable, and apparently, again, it could just be hot air right now until it's done, and you have to take it with a pinch of salt. But they've demonstrated that the money's all there and it's accessible, and therefore that will speed up the process because of what's gone before.
But one assumes that.
So if that's the case, and you think it's definitely done, or barring an absolute disaster, it's going to be done, then it means the football club can press ahead with a bit more certainty.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know we debated it for a short while, and it wasn't hugely material about whether the conditions placed upon 777 were, as I understood it to be, in the sale agreements, and then they were reaffirmed logically by the Premier League, because Premier League get told this is the sale agreement. They say, okay, well, you've got to do these things then. You would assume that Mr. Moshiri's starting position was the same deal that the other guys had. Therefore, that requires the paying off of MSP and what have you. So all that's good stuff.
Well, some of the reports are saying Moshiri is only getting 50 million.
That sounds about right. Yeah, he'll have an add-on somewhere, but
there's money being guaranteed for the day-to-day spending, which we saw.
That's an obligation. They have to do that.
The rest of the stadium's being paid for.
That's an obligation. Yeah.
MSP are being paid off.
That's an obligation. Yeah.
And then, according to something, there's a £350 million loan against the stadium to pay the rest of the debt off.
That's restructuring.
Again, that'll be restructured stuff. Yeah.
So that's pretty... Sorry, I'm going to use it again. That's the 101 stuff. That's like the place called Start. You restructure the debt you're not going to get rid of. Yeah. You get rid of the debt that you're obliged to get rid of. You demonstrate funding, which in their case, I guess, will be to complete next season's fixtures. So that's 12 months almost, isn't it? Yeah. And then you go, great, let's get on with it. Doesn't mean you're not going to sell players to satisfy PSR.
No, we know that.
Times are going to be difficult and stuff, but the opportunities in and around... extending the size of the equity and getting simplistically free money into the business are there, right? But they've got the advantage, the new owners, of everyone believing how crap it was before. So they can kickstart with some good news stories, but then they have to follow that up, as we've always said, with effective communication and decisive decision making. Yeah, which is great.
No, it's obviously very positive.
And have Roma got any players we want?
Like with Tammy Abraham. He has brought some good players, and they've put a thing in place where for this year they're concentrating on younger players. They've said so.
That fits us.
Obviously Paul Driggs. Come on, sorry.
Isn't there another club that he has a share in? Is it Nice or someone? Is it?
He's got shares in.
Is it Nice or somebody?
No, it's not Nice, because that's.
But it seems like it could be the start of another.
Ineos is Nice, isn't it?
Is it? Okay. But this guy's got some.
He's got another club,
right? Yeah. So this potentially is the start of another multi-club group, isn't it?
A couple of people in the comments aren't happy with the multi-club. They want Bell and Downing. I think that ship sailed now. To be honest, Cannes it is.
It's Cannes. There you go. It's French.
Thanks, Soph.
Oh, it's because he likes movies. Yeah.
That's it.
I don't get the link between I don't want multi-club, therefore want Bell and Downing. I don't get that. Whoever said.
Well, people will automatically go, one Evertonian to run it. Well, we just had one for a long time, and people weren't happy with that. So it is what it is. I want the best. I said it all along. I want the best person to run Everton Football Club, and we'll see what happens, won't we? We'll see what happens. Well, we know it's Roma. He owns another club, which is Cannes.
Is it Cannes? Yeah.
Seeing if there's anything there. No, the other stuff there. Everton have announced today that they've signed a multi-year agreement that will see HPE Aruba Networking become a leading provider for the enterprise network infrastructure and become an official supplier of Everton Stadium. Basically, it's a lot of...
That's a pure HP. That's a pure Hewlett-Packard press release.
Well, that's what it is. Basically, they're putting the Wi-Fi in at the new stadium. They have already, I've got things here, they've already put the stuff in a Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, they've done that. They've currently, or have completed it now, done it at the Barcelona, at the new camp, the renovation of the new camp. They've done that.
So they're making themselves the go-to, aren't they?
They've done it at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which is the Atlanta Falcons, and also Atlanta United play there. They've also done another couple of big stadiums, Kansas Chiefs, I think, Kansas City. I think they've done Kansas, and they've done another one in America. So they are the go-to guys now for
it's gig of stuff.
Wi-Fi. Basically, what it means is you'll be able to get on WhatsApp in the new stadium, and Twitter and Facebook and anything else you want to get on. You won't be going.
Just get scores at least.
And scores, you'll know what's going on in the other games.
Hopefully it's super fast.
Well, apparently, apparently it's the top one. Another thing, John, very briefly before we go, Everton did announce the other day, where's kept secret, I guess, but they did announce that the new kit supplier will be Castori. It's the deal.
Things you miss when you go on holiday.
The deal he signed is 3 times bigger than what Hummel was.
Sounds promising.
More than 20-odd million a season.
Yeah.
Which I think, and obviously Castori is part of that, become founding partners at Everton New Stadium as well. But that's good that they've increased the commercial, and something you've been banging on about for ages. So the more that we get these things in place as well, and hopefully now the new owner will come in and kick that up another level. But we've got, in terms of just very basic PSR stuff, this is the stuff we have to be doing.
Well, we can talk about it later in the week if we do a BWB, right? But for now, let's just say that as soon as you got a brand spanking new stadium, which has got all the infrastructure, not overusing that word, it provides you with opportunities you didn't have before.
Yeah.
And clearly one of the ones which I spoke to Richard about this forever ago, around having a tiered approach to your partners, because you have a phrase, and you just used it, founding partner.
Yeah.
In a brand spanking new stadium comes at a price.
Oh, absolutely.
But look what you get, right? And presumably with all the digital bloody signage we're going to have and all that sort of stuff, we'll all get soaked in HP, and we'll get soaked in Castore and all that sort of stuff. And that's just another tier of income generation. Same pillar, commercial, but another tier of it.
Yeah.
And let's exploit that to death. Every man and his dog is going to want to be associated with this stadium. Really
absolutely. Steve Carlisle said he's emailed you, John, some documents from a presentation by Liverpool Waters last year, the 10 streets. It'll give Ped some bedtime.
Yeah, a lot more than 10 streets now.
Some more
I want to get dragged into that. And that's the point. The club will do what it's done in the past. It invests in our city, right? Builds brand spanking new stadiums, the only club that does it. And now we're going to help regenerate part of Liverpool that many of us are from, and has been in a bit disrepair for quite a while. So.
I think the other thing as well is what's really good is Stefan Borson apparently said, no way, Castori, we're paying that much. They are, Stefan. You just need to go back now and go knitting like you were doing before someone decided you were relevant, mate.
Someone should just ask Stefan. Just...
He's a honest to God.
Stefan, someone just asked Stefan, how big did he think the Hummel deal was? And if he thinks Everton are lying when they say it's up to 3 times bigger. Yeah.
Incredible, isn't he? It's amazing how people have just been given some airtime by that station, and all of a sudden he thinks he knows everything about everyone.
Well, yeah.
Didn't he work at City during the time of their 115 charges?
Yeah, he referenced it. He referenced it on that thing where
did he? So we'll see.
Because the chairman guy was saying the wrong thing. He was being positive, so TalkSport shut him up and listened to Stefan instead.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We'll see. He also said, he did say that there was no way Friedkin, it was a non-starter to buy Everton. So,
for what reason?
I don't know.
Oh, because
God, who knows? Who knows? He probably, I don't know.
I love the people who were worried that we might have that same issue that Man United suffered from around two.
That's great, though.
An owner with 2 clubs, in the same competition. Yeah,
but that's great.
Let's hope we have that.
That's what I said to someone. Asked me, Baz, but what about? And I was like, we'll deal with that when we get there. Why don't we just deal with that when we get there?
We've suffered the can't have 2 clubs from the same city bit. We might as well have 2 clubs in the same group. Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt we have. Right. There's something else I was going to say before we went, but I don't know.
No, you said the last one was just before we go.
Yeah, I can't. I'm sure I want to ask you the question and I've seen that pop up, but it's okay. I'm sure it'll come back.
Out another time.
It'll come back. We are 25 subscribers from 86,000. So if there's 25 of you watching right now,
who haven't subscribed, press the button.
Just press the button. It takes a sec. It takes an absolute second. Stephen Lee says, Baz, shout out to Big Col Corky. Hello, Big Colin Corky. He's a big blue. That's right, lad. Colin, if you hadn't subscribed, do it now. It takes a sec. Get us closer to that 86,000.
Ned hasn't subscribed, you know.
Also,
it's a disgrace.
Lean forward, mate.
It was the San Francisco 49ers stadium that they put the Wi-Fi in.
Stopped me in the queue to get in the Foo Fighters on Saturday, and she asked for a picture with a fella. And I said, wait till we get to the end of the queue. And when I got to the end of the queue, I waited and he wasn't there. So he was looking for me. I apologise.
Oh, there you go.
I don't want to be that person. I want to just say I'm sorry.
So the one time you're not aloof, they don't turn up.
Right. Hello, Mark from Bogota. Right.
Wow, that's a good one. Colombia.
He's a good lad. He's a good lad. And Manchester United's awful £35 million bid for Brad.
That was disgraceful.
It's embarrassing. But listen, if you're trying to buy something, listen, this is from you, who said once if there was a house for sale at 100 grand, you'd offer 30 for it.
It's still disgraceful.
There you go. No, it absolutely is.
It
right.
focuses the mind.
We are doing our first watch along today of it. The Euros.
It's for the World
over on the More Than a Game channel. So get over there and watch the. Was it Romania versus Ukraine?
Yeah.
It's on 2 o'clock.
Michael's playing, isn't he?
Is he playing, Ned? He's not playing. He's injured. Even though Everton did sweet good.
He's on the
bench. That's good. That's good.
Please, Romain. And the link will take you.
Oh, let's put the link there. So get over it, but make sure.
Romain here.
Make sure if you are one of the 25 who haven't subscribed.
Click on that one as well.
Click on that one. So subscribe to both. It's free. Get over to the watch along. Absolutely. See you in a bit.